For today's video, we're going to look at Christmas holly treatments used by Homer Laughlin in the early 1900s. We'll start with the prints and filled in details. This is a treatment that originated on the Seneca shape around 1902 and 1903. So it's a green print, and then you see the green leaves and the red berries. Those were filled in by hand. This is a Seneca creamer with our treatment. It is treatment number 6009 with gold edge, though the gold is pretty worn on this one. There were two others, 6009X, which has no gold edge, although the hollowware, the handles and finials will have slight gold tracings on them. The rest of the pieces won't have any gold at all. So this one, a colonial plate, is 6009X and has no gold edge. And then there's 6009S, which is gold stipple, as you see here on this Seneca gravy. So those are your three variations of the print with filled in details: gold, no gold, and gold stipple. So we'll look at some more pieces, and these all come from roughly 1902 to about 1906. Colonial teapot with gold edge. (6009). A colonial gravy with gold stipple. That would be 6009S. American Beauty pickle with gold edge. American Beauty cake plate, again with gold edge. You can look at the embossing detail on this one. Sometimes you get with these fancy embossed shapes of the early 1900s, the embossing is pretty weak, but this one's pretty good. Here's its back stamp. We already saw the colonial plate. King Charles, another pickle. This could use a little bit of a soaking. And finally, a colonial pickle with gold stipple. So those are just a few examples of the dinnerware version of this print with filled in details. Again, Golden Gate, American Beauty, Colonial, Seneca, and King Charles. A version was also used on toiletware, though it's not nearly as common. We have two pieces of bridle to look at. There's our print with filled in details, the marking, large ewer. I will say this about some of these toiletware prints. They differ in two ways from the dinnerware versions, in that we see brown print and filled in details, whereas on the dinnerware version we have a green print with filled in details. Also, on toiletware we have these little buds that are hand painted in yellow, so we have an added color, whereas on the dinnerware they're just left alone. Large ewer, blended tints, heavy gold stippling. We've seen this before with toiletware where it's over decorated to the point it almost looks like a piece of art china. Probably would have been a basin to go with this. I've only ever seen the print on bridal, though I wouldn't be surprised if it were ever to show up on Mingo or Wyoming. Then we get to about 1906. And we start to see the decal version of holly, specifically on the Angelus shape. It starts with Angelus and then it's used on other shapes. And it differs from the print in that the colors are already in the decal. Nothing had to be added by hand after the fact. So you get very vibrant decals with nice shadowing and colors. And these essentially replace the prints, or the older prints. So the treatment number in Angelus was 9987 with slight gold. 9987.5 had a gold edge, 9987C had gold stamps, and 9987S had gold stipple. So you've got 4 variations of the decal. This one with the gold stamps has its treatment number 9987C. Covered dish in the Angelus shape. We have a colonial butter dish with gold stippling and 2 colonial plates with the decal, 9-inch and 8-inch. 8-inch has 3 sprigs, 9-inch has 4. And you might be able to see the colonial embossing if I can get it to reflect. Very faint, but it does tend to show up if you hold it the right way. There's your later colonial marking. It's also used on Hudson. It was reassigned. Treatment number is H117. This one has gold stipple. I should specify H117 was equivalent to 9987C, which is the gold stamp. This one with the gold stipple might have had a different treatment number. Now once you get beyond Hudson and you go to Niagara and Genesee and Empress and the others, we don't see the decals listed in the catalogs anymore. So Hudson's pretty much the end of these Christmas treatments for the early 1900s. The same decals that were used on Colonial Angelus and Hudson were also used on Duchess toiletware. And most of these pieces come from the collection of Joanne Jasper. We've got the large ewer in the basin, covered chamber pot, soap dish, shaving mug, 2 brush vases, and a mouth ewer. The mouth ewer tells us the treatment number is 2284 if you have the decal with the scattered gold sprigs. If you have the decal with a gold band like this one or gold border, that is 2281. So there are 2 variations. There's one more decal to speak of with respect to holly, and it's the one with the blossoms. We don't see this too much. This is a Hudson Spooner. Has the same gold stamps that we see on the Angelus. Hudson back stamp. And then we see it used several times on specialty ware. So this one is a small Angelus plate. There's our Christmas holly decal with the blossoms, a different gold stamp, and this added decal of the 3 little girls eating their porridge, I guess. So you get these oddball specialty pieces with the Christmas decals sometimes. So that's going to be it for now. The Christmas decals and the Christmas prints on the fancy embossed shapes, Golden Gate, American Beauty, Colonial, Seneca, King Charles, the Angelus, and Hudson, as well as bridal and Duchess toiletware.